Hey y'all, it is February the 3rd, 2020. Thank you for joining me. If you do, in fact, happen to join me, I appreciate you. I can't believe that we're still here on YouTube. Can't believe it, but at the same time, it is kind of typical at the same time because it's hard for me to make jumps sometimes, and especially because it's different other factors, like, for example, BitChute, DLive, and stuff that got quirks. And quirks tend to they get me all discouraged and stuff. Anyways, I was thinking about other stuff. I was spacing out actually. Since the last time that I talked to y'all, man, I've done a lot of spacing out a little bit and just kind of taking it very easy, taking it all in like a sponge basically, and not trying to have any outward movement or output, if you will. All input, I guess, for the past few days, right? And honestly, it's a big old blur. I can't really say what's what. So that's why I wanted you to go ahead and tell me what's what. I see that there's somebody up in the comment section. Ah, man. All right, I'm gonna check that out. But like I said, we don't know what we're doing. And we're kind of going willy-nilly. Here's what I want to say. On Wednesdays, we're going to really do it. We're going to do it professional. I'm actually going to have a game plan, and I look forward to it. Oh, man, Bart Fine is up in the building. I don't know how you do it so fast. I don't know how you do everything so fast, all right? Just trying to think you're part of the Illuminati, all right? But anyways, Bart Fine says sup. He says sup, and I think that's short for what's up. He said, did you hear about the Newsweek article about the General Shepherds? Oh, man. It's crazy how much we're on the same wavelength, Mr. General Bart Fine. It's actually, here, I'm going to show you something, all right? You want a little proof? I'll give it to you right before the broadcast. I kid you not. I'm not kidding you. I went to Google how I typically do, and you know how you go to the Google main page, and they'll give you a news feed of what they figure you might like or you might be into. I gotta work on my storage. Okay, so I went to Google, and the very first thing that I saw, the very first thing on the tippy top was this right here. What you're looking at, for those people, I know some people are just listening to this, but we got a visual right here. This is the very first thing that I saw. Oh man. Alright, so congratulations all over the place. Like confetti all over everybody's head. I mean, we might as well just um, dictate this to be a national holiday or something like that. I mean, here's the thing. I know that at some points, as human beings, we tend to, sometimes we get into doubt and stuff, and and that's not good. None of that's good. And sometimes we'll not really understand the difference that we're making currently. Certain people out there making waves of difference, tsunamis of difference, right? And of course, that would be partly Bart Fine. And in a large part, I gotta say, I've seen it. I watch it every day. Just the amount of work that's put in, and also shout out to that man JoJo over there in Kentucky, I believe. And there's probably another person. There's probably another couple people, but I don't know who it is. Shout out to all of them. All right, they're making Newsweek. I bet you didn't think that you'd make it out of the tippy top of Google over there on my main page. I bet you didn't think that, but you did. All right, it's already conquered Newsweek. Newsweek, you know what I'm saying? They might as well bow down. All right, it is what it is. All right, but that's what I just saw right before the broadcast. What do we have to say about that? Call me live if you want. The clip is on my channel. The clip is up on the channel. What clip? We gotta get to the bottom of this. What's up today? Blah blah blah. Clip is on my channel. Um, they left me up. JoJo is part of the army, and the army's doing very big things. Right? They're up on the dang tippy top of Google. It's amazing. We see that Barfine, he's ready to call in. I'm not sure when you want to do it. If you want to, I don't know if you want to carry on for a long time or what it is you have to talk about. Maybe it's something dealing. I don't know. I almost hesitate to say it, y'all, because I imagine it's been said to no end. But it is something to think about, that coronavirus. And it is something to think about. I have gotten corona fatigue, and I bet you a lot of people have, right? I don't know if you want to go into a lot of detail, I wonder exactly how we're gonna do it right now, right? And because I don't know really what we're doing, but I did have something on my mind that we're gonna discuss before we get on up out of here, all right? And I might as well address it right now, or at least call attention to it. Okay, in the short broadcast that we're about to do, I want to concentrate on the idea. It's kind of contradictory, but the idea. This is what I've been thinking about or pondering on. The idea of having specialists and the power in having specialists. Now, specialists, lots of times, they cost a lot of money and stuff. And I understand that, and you can't afford. It's only so much you can afford. All right. So as far as that goes, yeah, that is what it is. But I mean, having specialists, and it's a lot easier than sometimes it seems in your life. All right, who get you that real nitty gritty, no matter what it is, no matter what it's concerning. But it's only one thing. You go to them and they got you on that one thing. That's what they do and stuff. They got you. They'll take care of you. All right, on certain things. A lot of people, especially going to these big box stores, and I already people figured this out a long time ago. It's very disempowering because you don't have specialists. You have all sort of people fumbling and mumbling around, and they can't really help you and stuff like that. They might have real cheap prices on their cheap Chinese-made goods, but they really can't help you. All right, they can't get down to the nitty gritty, and that's what we're desiring. Before we get into the broadcast, we might have some stuff to say about this. We're going to see what Bar Fine has to say about this. We're going to see what y'all had to say about this. All right, it's the idea of specialists. But at the same time, it is contradictory in the way that I'm not saying to bow down to anybody. You know what I'm saying? You're an individual. You're a warrior, probably. And you look inside yourself, right? You don't look outwardly and stuff and depend on people around you. That's not what I'm saying about these specialists. And I don't know who they are, but in your life and around your life that you can get a hold of. It's not that you trust them completely, but you do see what they do, and you recognize the power that they can emit, especially if they're honed in on their specialty, whatever their talent is or their service. Anyways, like for example, like a very simple example is like a lot of people don't know how to eat, basically, food. All right, we're not going to talk about it very much, but that's an example. And they don't know how to eat, and those same people probably don't know how to cook food. Lots of times they say, oh man, I eat this and I eat that, and I feel all terrible and I can't help it, and I don't know how to eat or cook. It's like, well, yeah, that's true. Back in the day, people had specialists, and they would call them mothers. All right, I'm talking about way back in the day. And I'm sorry, sorry if it's politically incorrect, but they would call them mothers, and those mothers would cook food for you, all the food that you need and that you eat. You go to them as a specialist. All right, and this could be made for any sort of thing. You can have a bicycle specialist. And Lord knows I do. I go to a guy, and he takes real good care of me. Anyways, that applies to anything on earth, right? Basically, and it's not to say you follow that person or you bow down to that person. You just see that person is creating a benefit and perhaps could, benefit you in your life, right? And make your life not so hard. And you can concentrate on your specialty and vice versa. It's all teamwork and it all come together. You know what I'm saying? There's the term body of Christ, and I know a lot of people wouldn't care for that term, but the thing is, I want to concentrate on that. And that being said, I bring all that up to say this. When it comes to going down the rabbit holes, getting the red pills, doing all this, becoming more acquainted with reality in a way that you know that you never were before. You had no idea what was going on. You did not know which way was up from down. All right. All sort of different things you did not know. You were ignorant to. Me too. It was amazing. All the weird, wild things that I did when I had no idea what I was doing. All right. So, you already know that it's a daily occurrence in which, it's an ever expanding perspective that you have on the world. You start to understand more and more and more. And if you're like us out here, you might realize that a lot of this stuff is freaky, wild, and weird. It's absolutely wild, beyond your wildest imaginations. As far as the bad things, the terrible things, and the good things that can happen on Earth, and it's very wild, it's mystical, right? It's like a fairy tale or something. But a lot of times it's like a nightmare as well. Anyways, It's just to say that, people, they need to have a specialist. And that's why a lot of these people, they already know it innately. And they went to the television a long time ago. And they totally got, obviously brainwashed and stuff like that. But they know full well that they need a specialist to take the news and gobble it up and distribute it to them. And it's not necessarily a new concept what I'm discussing, but it was what I was dwelling upon right before I got on here. It's like, we need specialists regardless. And some people might come to me for like the news blitzes and the this and that, and taking all sort of random things, putting them together, mushing them together, all in a random way, seemingly random, the way that I do it. Some people like me for that, and I don't know why, but they do, and I appreciate it. All right, but at the same time, you got to know that I go to certain sources, like obviously, like all the time, and it's a revolving door because I really can't concentrate on all sort of people at the same time. And so only the cream of the crop is what I've been honing in on, and I've been coming aware of a whole mess of different various people who are just going so hard in the paint that you wouldn't even believe it. All right, we're going to talk about a couple of them at least before we get out of here on the broadcast. So I'm going to let you be aware of some of them. Let me check out what's going on in the comments. All right, Barfine is running amok. All right, he said, I am insulted that Newsweek left me off the S list. I'm not sure exactly what Barfine means. If Barfine wanted Newsweek to actually say the name Bart Fine, or just totally completely dox him or go crazy on him. I'm not sure how much attention the general would want necessarily, but you gotta understand, it's like on YouTube, everybody knows full well. You got Bart Fine putting in mad work, you got JoJo putting in mad work, and there might be a couple others, but it's not a whole lot of them because people realize that, okay, those people slid into their niche and they're honing in on their specialty, at least for the time being. It's not to say it's permanent forever, but they're putting in their work and they're benefiting all sort of people already. So there's not a lot of people have to do it. It becomes a specialty that's being provided right here and stuff, and it makes our lives easier technically if we're on YouTube. Like, for example, you can take YouTube videos, and for those people deep into the YouTube world, you already know, you can play videos and listen to them technically and take your phone. And I don't recommend it, but you could do it in emergency situations. Take your phone, play it, and go and do some other stuff. Maybe Google at the same time. Maybe get this and that done. If you're a cheap old bum like me and all you got is a cell phone with unlimited data and stuff, and you do all sorts of different things, you multitask. You don't have an internet connection like myself, for example, which I might be fixing to get pretty soon. I'll let y'all know, and I have reason to believe that I will. Anyways, YouTube is very convenient. Let's just put it like that. And this application is very convenient. And none of these applications are necessarily competing. And that's what's also making people hesitate to get off of YouTube, because YouTube is still so dang convenient. And it's terrible that way because it's ran by Nazis. And everybody knows it. All right? So go live and call me. All right? Barfine, I am already live. Right? I hope that I am. Let's see. We got 3 people up in the building. I appreciate y'all. Let yourselves be known. Okay, it's Barfine saying that he wants me to call him right now. And if that is the case, I'm gonna have to get word. But if that is the case, I believe that I saved his number in my contacts last time, but I'm not exactly positive. So I might look into my contacts right quick and see. Hopefully I don't see that's the thing. Hopefully I don't dox everybody who I know in my life. I wouldn't think so. Let me be very careful to not dox everybody. Let me see. If I go to my contacts, I don't know exactly how it'll work. All right, let's see. How's it gonna work? See, it says people's names, right? But it doesn't say their numbers. You don't know who they are or how to contact them. Emergency room broadcast. What are you talking about? We got AJ Hunter's mom up in the building. I see that. Ah, man, I appreciate y'all. We don't know what's going on. Alright, it's kind of implied by the title. And I'm sorry about that. I mean, you already know it's kind of typical. But it just so happened that we didn't have anything together. We're discussing people and getting down, definitely having specialists. It's very empowering. I think you'll note, and I'm just only suggesting it, but if you do take on that endeavor of seeking out specialists, you'll know that it's very empowering, and you start to get very quality things in your life, to include quality information discerned to you, but not tonight through me. But sometimes I do. I guess I didn't save it. Now, I don't know what Barfine's comfortable with. I don't know if he's comfortable with like he did last time. And I'm not saying you should do it because Lord knows it's not exactly safe. But you could put your phone number on there if you wanted to, and then I'll call you. I don't remember where I wrote it down, and I am the worst at that sort of thing. And I don't know why I didn't put it in the contacts, but I didn't. All right, and I'm sorry about that. Anyways, while we're figuring that out, emergency room broadcast, we're definitely gonna have Barfine on. So I know everybody's getting ready, but I do want to build some suspense too as well. I just realized we didn't even set vibes. We're already like just on to the thick of things. There is one lady who I wanted to play, but we're not gonna play her because it would throw our rhythm all off. I was listening to her earlier, and it was beautiful, and she was playing the piano. Anybody can call me, I don't care. Barfine just doesn't care anymore. It's 2020, and I think that has a lot to do with it. But Barfine just ain't giving an F anymore, and now he's putting out his phone number for everybody to see it. Now, I don't know what we should do. It's like, I'm going to call Barfine, obviously, but it's like, I just want to preface by saying, I don't know personally what I want to settle in on as far as coronavirus. Look, it popped up right at the top, tippy top again. Right? Coronavirus or probably this. I'm going to go ahead and put Barfine on blast, and I hope he doesn't mind, but I might just give him the floor and stuff, and he might have a lot to say concerning this whole development. Why is he, I don't know if he wants us to open up the article. There's probably other developments, but I'm not too sure. We're flying by the seat of our pants here. We're just going to get on this article real quick, and we're going to give him a call. He said, write down, I erased. What? Barfine, you're tripping. I don't know what the words that you're saying means. But we got to get to the bottom of it, all right? This broadcast is almost over, basically. What time is it? 8:47? Nah, I'm just kidding. We have some more time. I'll say we have about, shoot, what time is it? Dang, I definitely give it about 30, 45 minutes to get down to the bottom of this here rabbit hole, all right? So, thank y'all for bearing with me and stuff like that. People out there, I know it's a little bit of this and that we have to do during the broadcast because we don't have producers, we don't have assistants, we don't have teleprompters, we don't have this and that. We could just rattle it off, but sometimes it takes some time. Barfine said, write it down. I erased. I don't know what in the world he means by that. All right, but Barfine's tripping. 678. All right, and hopefully this doesn't get Barfine in all sort of trouble and get him all audited by the IRS or who knows what the possibilities for doing this. So we're going to give him a call. But just real quick, we might probably talk a lot about this, what we've been talking about. Alex Jones is part of Newsweek. I don't know how popular Newsweek is or used to be, but certainly it's not as popular as it used to be. But Alex Jones' InfoWars YouTube videos uploaded by proxy accounts attracted hundreds of thousands of views despite ban. And I venture to say this, and I'm going to want to hear the feedback just to know if I'm wrong or not. But I venture to say that it got probably over the span of time, it probably surpassed a million, all right, into the million. I'm not going to say many millions, but it probably surpassed a million when you consider everything accumulated, when you consider everything that was deleted like that same day and stuff like that. You'll never have a record for it. I just saw the numbers, and I was seeing them day after day, and I don't know how long it's been. It's been a long time since Alex Jones was banned off of YouTube and remains on YouTube every single day, and he's not hard to find because of these gentlemen right here. But probably over a million, I would have to say. But we're going to get confirmation on that. We got 5 people up in the building, all right? I appreciate the heck out of every single one of y'all. But we're about to make a phone call, and I'm about to see if I can get the audio right. We're going to see if we can give the floor to Barfine to explain to us what the heck's popping up in the streets. All right? I don't recommend that anybody do this, what we're doing right now, as far as put in your number on the internet. Barfine, he just doesn't care about anything anymore, all right? Except, I guess just wreck and shop. And he does. All right, so we're going to do this. But like I said, for those people out there who don't, who haven't gotten into the internet, well, don't do this, all right? It's not a good thing. I would recommend you don't do this, all right? And I'm starting to regret it, all right? Now I'm not, dang it, I don't know how to type. I mean, it is what it is. If Barfine is willing to put himself on blast, well, I'm just going to go ahead and let him do it. Make sure I got this number right. 678-961-9724. Now, I remember last time on the last recording, because I checked, I went to Barfine, the audio wasn't very good, and y'all might remember this. But we're going to see if we can get the audio correct this time. I'm not sure. Let's give it a ring. All right, if I remember correctly, the way that we're doing it right now, um, you can't see anything as far as a view. Neither can I. We can't reference anything on the internet right now. It's just all the power and the strength of our fury and our might here. And hopefully, I'm calling the right number. Ah, man, let me double check. 678. I always do that wrong. Like, I'll mix up some numbers and stuff like that. Call a random person. It, you know, I'm the type to do it. Alright, this is completely and totally frustrating right now. Alright, where's our fine?
The Magic Jack customer you have called is
What the heck?
unavailable to take your call.
What?
Please leave a message after the tone.
Okay, I'm leaving a message right now. Maybe to a stranger, and I'm sorry about that. But we're doing it live on the internet. I'm sorry to bother you, but you may or may not be Bart Fine. And they're trying to delete you off the internet. I understand that. I tried to give you a call. I might have dialed the wrong person, and if I did, I'm sorry about that as well. But we did want to get in contact with you. You might be wanted. You may or may not be wanted by the FBI and the CIA, but I do have to get out of here and do the rest of this air broadcast. Hold on one second. I hope we really did not just mess up everybody's life on that one. I hope that none of us get investigated by government agencies off of this one. Let me get out of here. I don't want to dox anybody. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure I got that number all the way correct. Let me go back and see if I wrote it down correct. 678-678-961. And I'm not even dyslexic, but when it comes to like phone numbers, it's like, dude, I don't know what I'm dude, I totally wrote down the exact right number. All right, see, that's what kind of calamity you can have on live broadcasts. I didn't mean to get derailed, but I totally had the right number. I wrote it down right. I typed it in right. AJ Hunter's mama says his number, he means. What? Write down the number I erased? I don't know. I don't know what it means. But I wrote down that number correctly. Alright? I don't know if you're trying to, but try it again. Ah, man. Well, I don't know who it was that we just called that time, alright? But we might have totally infuriated them. We could be waking them out of their slumber right now. And then not only that, but doing it again. What's going on with Bart? I'm not sure. But y'all, we might be poking a bear right now. Who's to say? Who's to say? And then he might come and find us because we're playing on his phone. And who's to say? He might want to do that. Alright? Try not to dox everybody. We're going to do this one more time real quick. 678. See if we can get the audio right. People are real curious. People are going to start alerting the authorities if we don't get to the bottom of this as far as the whereabouts of Barfine. So that being said, I see 4 y'all up in the building. Like I said, we're not going to have a visual for a little while, and I won't be able to see your comments either. But we'll get down to the nitty gritty, and then we're going to come back, and I will be able to see your comments after that point if we can keep everything together. So we're getting in the call. It's live on the internet. Seeing if we don't totally, like I said, infuriate somebody and have them hunt us down. Or playing on their phone. That's what used to happen back in the day. I don't know if it still happens.
Hello, Bart Fine. Me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think we got Barfine on the line. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get the audio correct. I don't want to disturb my
That's
neighbors.
bad. Oh,
Yes, sir, Bart. What? Here's the thing. Let me see if I get my audio right. But you also seem to be cutting out a little bit. I'm not sure if that's just on my end. All right. So, Barfine, what the heck is up right now?
well, I mean, I was surprised because I looked down in the comment section and somebody said I was at Newsweek, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought that fooling me or something. So, but it's true. But they didn't name me specifically. They
Well,
named
hey,
the
hold
general
on.
shep
Did you want them to
general
do?
shepherds,
Did they want?
and
Did you want them to name you?
uh, yeah, why
Uh,
not?
so you
That's
want to
what
go?
I work. I don't care. You
Mm,
know, I mean,
so you're all in,
because
basically.
I won't stay there because I didn't, just I just go through the system like, you know, so I mean,
Hmm.
I just I felt it because what they said that there was three main channels putting out, and then they
Three.
doxed Hellboy and the faces on it, and they had links to their videos and their accounts.
Oh
But
man.
they named three content providers. I, of course, but I'm not afraid to admit I am.
Mm. Yeah, and just put it on
I
blast.
had a
Well.
book about it later. I don't care because I'm so broke to pay attention, and how life is. Everybody has all over. I'm already down on my back, so they can't really do much to me. I got nothing politically, of course. I'm not violent, but you know what I mean. I'm just going to keep running my. So they put me in jail, or somebody gives me some. I don't know. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I can totally appreciate that for sure. All right, and actually, we might be. It's like I imagine that if you wanted to be put more on blast, just to kind of make your point, I'm sure it could be done, especially in the near future. As they say, strike while the iron's hot. And the attention is definitely on y'all. I mean, it went to the tippy top of my Google. You know what I'm saying?
And what this, this article, if you read it through later, if you have a chance,
Oh, I
it,
will.
you know how oh no, I'm not trying to pat myself on or brag or anything, but I made a predict kind of a not said something to the effect of I think the deep state is about with a bioweapon. 3 weeks later, it looks like they did,
Hmm.
and
A lot of people are saying
and
that.
then when I called into Alex Jones, I reminded him of this. He couldn't believe me, but hadn't seen the clip, and the audio is down below. I'm anybody that's interested, but um, where I guess where we going with it?
Okay, all right. So I caught everything, but that last part. Hey, here's one thing I'm gonna do right quick, and it's kind of an experiment. I'll take you off of this here speaker because I can't tell why exactly you're cutting in and out. I'm catching it all, but I wonder about the audio as far as people in the live stream, people on the recording. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this here external speaker off and put the phone on speaker mode and see if that kind of like makes your reception any better and see how the audio is on that. And while I do that, I guess like I'm gonna rely on you to, what I'm saying, let me know if we're still on the dang internet because I really can't tell. But hold on one second. All right, I went ahead and I put you on speakerphone on my phone. Can I hear you or can you say something real quick?
I can hear you very well when you did a little bit of breaking up.
Mm.
I have a headset plugged in. If you want, I can take that out. I don't know if that'll help.
No, I wonder. Like I'm hearing you pretty well right now, but it's very faint. As far as the people on the internet, I can't tell if they can hear at all or if we're even on the internet. Okay, cool.
You know, I'm not censoring free speech, but you gotta watch what sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes.
You know, because a drunk words or a sober man's thoughts.
Dang, you tripping, Bart Fine. You tripping. Hey, but okay, here. It's not really working on the audio end, so I'm gonna put it back in this speaker. And I'm gonna need you to let me know if we're still on the internet after I do it, and if you could hear us on the or like I don't know what you can hear on the internet right now. But hold on one second. In a second. If we can work it out, I know a lot of people. I don't know what you've been hearing this whole entire time for minutes on end. All right, maybe nothing, maybe all sort of gibberish. I want to get feedback from the audience real quick to let us know how terrible the audio was on that phone call. I know that we're working through that sort of mess and we're figuring out sort of all this sort of stuff around limited technology. And certainly we plan to up our technology in the near future, even in the face of all sort of calamity to include the coronavirus. And I gotta say, okay, with that being said, real quick before we get into the Alex Jones Infowars proxy stuff, which we will. That's this one right here. I just do also want to point attention out to band.video, all right? And I think I was on there earlier. Yeah, I'm on there right now. Band.video. I want to draw attention to it because it's one of my many. It's hard to keep up with all my specialists that I have that bring me all sort of news. But of course, Infowars has been a heavy influence, and I'd be ashamed to not bring it up. I bring it up every single time, no matter what anybody says. Like until they do me wrong, and totally embarrass me. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Here, I don't know, people out there, you expect your specialists and your news people to be exactly right all the time. Now, some people get brainwashed when they watch the television and they think those people are all the way right, but except they're not even close to reality. And lots of times they're covering up for things and they're sweeping things under the rug. And it's very nefarious. Meanwhile, I'm over here and I'm trying my best, but I might not know everything and I might get things wrong and I might admit to it. And everybody's out here, we're trying to get our things under control. We're trying to understand things. And so a lot of people trip on InfoWars because Alex Jones might get things wrong. There's lots of times when I look at this guy right here to the right. Oh, that guy right there. And he started saying some stuff, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you saying this stuff?" And it's like, sometimes he's wrong for sure. A lot of people say, "Oh, back in the day, I haven't heard it recently, but they'll be like, you buy that Alex Jones stuff, and oh, you believe it." It's like, no, I believe he's trying his best, and not only that, point your attention out a whole bunch of people you might say that's not as diverse as you'd like. All right, we got Savannah Hernandez. She does Action 7. You might say, oh, and we also got Will Johnson. But I mean, it's not about diversity of skin color. That's actually retarded, right? And that's the opposite of Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream, allegedly, right? But it is a whole diversity of thought, and all these people, they think in different ways and they say different things. As far as coronavirus, I'll have you know that it's kind of like chickens with their heads cut off. They're running around. And none of them really, I mean, perhaps Mike Adams, who kind of specializes in those sort of things. That's this guy right here on the very left by Savannah. He kind of, I tend to believe that he knows a lot about what he's talking about. But however, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions when it comes to that coronavirus. What I'm kind of leaning towards is what Mike Adams is saying as far as a synthetic, and that's what Barfine was talking about. Barfine has been blowing the trumpet and putting out the word for a while now. Bioweapon is what he says. Now, it's not definite 100%, but if you talk to some people like Mike Adams, he might tell you it's like 99.8% probable that it's a bioweapon or something. What he said was earlier that 100% this was made in a laboratory, 100%. And so whether or not it's an attack on people or if it was accidentally released in this area in which they know they have all sort of viruses in laboratories, he said either way, it's synthetic, it's lab made. And even today, I heard Paul Joseph Watson. If you go to I don't know where he's at, right there. See Paul Joseph Watson on the left. He was like, dude, this is from people eating bat soup and snake steak and all sort of stuff over there in Asia. And they eat everything. They eat bats and rats and worms and also. And I know over here it seems absurd. It becomes like a situation. Look, I don't care if y'all are eating dogs and everything else over there, and only in certain parts, because that's the thing. Asia is a very diverse place. You might say they all look alike, but they don't all act alike. And I know some Asians here in America who love their dogs. I mean, love them, and I don't mean love eating them. They love them like family members. So it's a lot of diversity in that. Anyways, I know a lot of people are saying a lot of different things. All right. I'm skeptical of all of it. All right. And I'll be keeping my eye on it. Of course, it's going to be something that we cover. And let me check out the comments real quick. Barfine says, sorry. That's the thing. I can't say as far as the phone call if it's on your end or if it's on my end. I don't know, but we're fixing to get feedback. I want to know and find out how we can improve. I don't know if perhaps my audio setup was what was messing everything up. I know sometimes I don't know which spot to speak in on the phone and maybe can't hear me so good, and things like that. I don't know if it's on your end or my end, but we're going to get it figured out. All right, so it's all progress. AJ Hunter's mama said, I hear just fine. Bart, Bart is cracking on his end. That's what I wonder. If it's on Bart's end, perhaps, see, we're not professionals, but we got to remember this sort of stuff. It's like, okay, we got to stay close to the microphone. We got to figure out, put in all these technicals. I don't want to bore y'all, but I'm just saying the coronavirus, everybody is running around saying all sort of things. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Let's see what else has been said. So what's going on with Bart? Okay, that being said, let's go back. We're talking about this. We're going to specialize on this tonight because Lord knows Google done sent me a sign. All right, and I don't know if it's going to pop right back up. I think we actually had it on our applications, but okay, we're going to type, we're going to click, we're going to type in, we're going to click and find out, get to the bottom of this. Y'all, I have not read this article yet. It wasn't very long before the broadcast started that I just barely saw that this article existed. And I was doing a little bit of cooking and preparing. So, long story short, I haven't read it. We're going to read it together. I don't know if we're going to read all of it, but we're going to get us a little bit of a taste, all right? And see if we can't find something juicy. This is breaking news, February the 3rd, right? 2020. Just past noon, 12:50, right after lunch, they went ahead and uploaded this. I don't know why they waited till after lunch, but I guess they were working feverishly. It said YouTube channel sharing content from Alex Jones and his website InfoWars have attracted hundreds of thousands of views despite hosts banned from the platform. Just like I've been saying, y'all, see if I can get feedback. I don't know if y'all remember. How long ago was it that Alex Jones was basically banned from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everything else, to include D Live for some reason? But D Live has only been recently revealed to me that Alex Jones somehow banned from D Live as well. I don't know how that is. But, okay, All right, that ban took place kind of a while back, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's over a year ago. It's kind of all blurred to me now, but it was definitely a while back that Alex Jones was banned from the whole entire internet, and then people immediately started doing this General Shepherd things. And I found it just by typing in Alex Jones, and I stumbled across General Shepherd. I'd never heard of it before. I never played that video game. And I was like, what the crap is this? And I noticed they were posting of Alex Jones, his current videos. So I was like, oh, that's crazy. And I just kept typing in General Shepherd, just kept typing it in. And it was just unstoppable. It was an unstoppable force. And YouTube, like I said, and everybody knows, it's such a convenient application that if there was something that was exactly like YouTube but wasn't, but it was exactly like it, people would flock to it just at record pace. I'm here to tell you. But they got spins on it that are not exactly as convenient and user friendly, and it's unfortunate. Seeing up in the comments, we got Barfine said, "Yeah, I did it." He said, "But I ain't the one." They said, "Did it." I don't know what that means, but hey, I admit nothing or I admit everything. I'm not sure. We're gonna get down to the bottom of this, but here's the thing. Like I said before, they say hundreds of thousands of views. This has been going on for a while, right? And you could tell just if you look at it and monitor it the way that I do, how many views one of these videos gets in say an hour. It's a lot. I would venture to say hundreds. In about an hour, any one of these videos get like hundreds of views. And if it was monetized, people would be making serious money, but of course it's not, right? But in an hour, you get hundreds of views, and then if you check back up on it, if it's still posted, it'll get into the thousands. After a while, it might take a little while for people to get all acquainted, but it'll get into the thousands. And then when you consider every video, y'all been dropping videos by the dozens. Maybe like, I mean, all told, everybody in, I don't know, at least a dozen videos a day, every single day, at least, right? And every one of those is getting hundreds of views and eventually thousands until they actually get deleted. And then you don't know how much views they got necessarily because they've been deleted, right? It's hard to accumulate and keep record of exactly. That's why I'm here to say is it says 100,000, hundreds of thousands. I doubt it. I'm here to say it's probably in the millions. But you know how they like to play down things, all right? I don't have to tell you. But Newsweek said uploaded under the pseudonym General Shepherd, all right? And see, here's the thing about Newsweek. Y'all retarded. I'm sorry about it. It's not politically correct, but y'all are so unbelievably retarded, all right? If you haven't watched Wolf of Wall Street or like anything else in your whole damn life, you haven't figured it out. What you're doing is you're putting it on blast, and more people are going to know about it. Not only the people who already know about it going to see it, but also the people who have no clue at all. They're going to see it, and you're going to strike their curiosity. You're going to say, oh, this is banned and don't go here, or you're a bad person. But they're going to do it anyways. These people who've never done it before, they're going to see it. They're going to say, oh, what's this? This sounds crazy. What happens if I type in General Shepherd? In YouTube, it's just going to pop up, and then it will pop up, and then they're just going to keep watching it. So good going, Newsweek. Anyways, at least 3 accounts amassed thousands of subscribers since their creation in October last year. And in fact, they're playing it down because the accounts have been deleted more times than I can shake a stick at. Unbelievable amount of times. All right. When all told, everybody in, I'm sure they've been deleted hundreds of times. And each and every time they get these thousands of subscribers, right? So since their creation in October of last year, so they gave us a little bit of a timeline. October of last year, right? Wait, hold on. Are they talking about October of 2019? What? I don't know if they mean 2018 or if their grammar is just bad, or I don't even understand. They probably don't even know. Marfine said, did you see how I fueled Alex? Wait, let's check this out. How I fueled Alex's rant when I spoke about bioweapons. Was that a few days ago? Barfine, just real quick, and this is the guy who they're talking about in the article. It's one of the guys. Barfine, it's a pleasure to have him on board right here. And he was saying that he got Alex Jones all up into a rant I don't know if he means very recently or if he meant a few days ago, in which I saw that Alex Jones took Bart Fine's call, and then Bart Fine. We might go to a clip just to refresh people's memories here in a second. But he started talking about that bioweapon, and then I'm sure Alex Jones went ahead and embellished on what it is Bart Fine was getting at as far as a bioweapon is concerned. Before we go any further, I want to say, as a person who's reasonable, logical, I suggest that we take any situation, if it was a bioweapon or not, and consider it that it might be a bioweapon, right? And before I go any further, I'll have you know, and y'all already know, that most people on Earth, I would say 97, 98%, I don't know, a lot, maybe less than that, those people don't have the heart for this, right? And they don't have the heart for the nitty gritty, and they'll never get to the bottom of the truth, and they'll ignore it forever, and we'll wonder why. It's because they can't handle it, right? It's because they can't handle it. But for those people who can handle the possibilities of the wild, wild world that they live in right now, and we know we don't know what's going on, but we know that people are lying to us all over the place. And they're doing that for a reason. And they're covering up all sort of barbaric, what do you call it? Um, Dang it, I was thinking some biblical term, but abominations, basically. Yeah, that's good. That's a good word. Abominations, and they're covering up for them and stuff like that. Um, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and it's an ugly, ugly thing that we're seeing. And at the same time, I would suggest that while we're seeing it, we're also looking in the mirror and we're seeing ourselves as disgusting animals at the same time. And we know that we're completely capable of all the carnage and all the mayhem that these people are causing. However, we refrain from that sort of behavior and that lifestyle because we know that it is retarded and that it will lead to nothing but destruction. And it's led by Satan. I think we've all figured that out, right? And we're trying to avoid that. But we do have to keep an eye on it because it's so weird and wild that to get to the nitty gritty and to the bottom of it, we really got to stare at it sometimes. And that's what we're doing here on this channel. We're taking a moment out to stare into the abyss, into this wild, wild world full of consequences. And I'm talking about of the harshest nature for certain people to include, and especially the children out there, right? We're getting down to the bottom of it, and at the same time, we got to realize that if you were to stare into the abyss long enough, well, you become the abyss, right? I don't know who said that first, but that's absolutely true. And you get all worked up, and you get your cortisol, just to speak scientifically, you get your cortisol all pumped up, and you become a nervous wreck, like Mariah Carey or something like that. You totally lose it. So you got to learn how to make a balance. And I think that's what we're doing together with each other right now. Barfine says 30 days ago, I was considered insane. He said, I don't know if this was by a professional facility, but he said, I was pretty much documented as clinically insane. Now, who is insane? Now, who it is? Now, who it is? Is it Newsweek? Are they insane? Are they going to be administered to a loony bin? Do those even exist anymore? Because I hear that they don't. And I hear that they've been replaced with jails and prisons in which you take the crazy people and you torture them. Either that or you assimilate them into criminal activity and you release them on the streets. Crazier than anybody's business and with criminal skills. Oh, and it happens all the time. We can't get into it right now, but we will get into it perhaps on Wednesday and definitely into the near future about the crazy, out of control, killing machine, uh, uh, just nightmares like you wouldn't believe that are let out onto the streets. I've actually been diving down that rabbit hole, especially recently, but I've done it before. Who are released onto the streets only to unleash mayhem within days and take people's lives. And it's done so in a calculated sense, almost like releasing the dogs on people. And people know full well what's about to happen. And it takes place all over this country. And I'm sure in other countries it also takes place. And we're going to put a spotlight on that. It's wild if you've never been down that road. It is unbelievable. You will not want to believe it unless you've been down that road. All right. AJ Hunter's mama says, yup, none in my area, just jails and prisons. Right? Barfine said they literally laughed at me, but guess what? They ain't laughing no more. And if they are laughing, they're fake laughing, right? They're trying to put on some sort of confidence game, and it ain't working. But they're fake laughing and stuff. Meanwhile, they're putting all sort of spotlight on Barfine and on JoJo and on the other person or couple of people who are doing the same thing. And right now, I'd say you strike while the iron's hot. Whatever you're gonna do, don't do anything drastic or violent against anybody. I would suggest, but make your dang name be known, or don't do it. But obviously, some people are gonna do it, and they're gonna step forth, and they're gonna put their foot down, and people are gonna hear what they had to say. All right. Some people are going to do that. And Barfine looks like he's itching and scratching to just slap people in the face, to kind of have that 300 moment where you throw the arrow at that big transsexual and it slices his cheek and he realizes, oh, yeah, you could get it in the cheek. Just as soon as I want you to get it in the cheek, I'll throw it directly at your cheek. You're going to get it. All right. They were laughing at him. AJ Hunter's mama talking about, yeah, they ain't no loony bins. Guess what? There used to be loony bins. Then we got all sort of propaganda on us saying, oh, these loony bins, they're treating people all bad and they're electroshock therapying people. And they got everybody so paranoid against loony bins all throughout the movies, all throughout programming. They said, oh, they're mistreating them. That girl interrupted and everything else. They're like, oh, they're being mistreated in these loony bins. We got to shut them down. Meanwhile, the solution was to close down the loony bins and stick them in jail. That's what they've been doing. It's kind of obvious. All right, Barfine says, I'm the only GS that won't be intimidated. Now, I don't know if that's a gauntlet being thrown out to the other GSs, but it is to say, hey, and look, I'm on the other side of the fence. I wanted to admit to you right now that I do things on the internet, and hopefully we'll do more things, get more people incorporated. And in the near future, I look forward to that. More minds equals more better, as so long as we can filter out all the negative and all the unproductive mess that comes along with it. And it's inevitable that you're going to get that mess. But I gotta say as well, I'm not putting myself on blast necessarily. Like I could go out in the streets right now and start yelling about Alex Jones and this and that and carrying on or doing something, and I'll get people's attention. But at the same time, I will eventually get fired from my job or something like that. And a lot of people experience the same damn thing, right? Where it's a financial burden. You might say, "Oh yeah, we're all slaves, and this is why we can't speak out because they got financial grips on us." I would totally agree. And over this season, look, you can't predict the future, and you can't make everything turn out the way that you're planning for. But in the near future, over this season, we're definitely going to discuss things like food preparation and getting like food storage for a rainy day, for a rainy month, even if you got to stay in your house for some odd reason for an entire month, and with your gun by your side for some odd reason. Well, do you have enough food? Do you have enough water to just be able to stay put and have your gun by your side? You're gonna want that gun. That's the thing. That's what I gotta implore you. You don't want all that food and all that water anyways, unless you have that gun, right? Unless people are kind of scared to come knocking. So, we're going to talk a lot about that, right? I forgot how we got into that, but we're going to see that's the thing. They got a financial grip on us. That's what we were talking about. And they use it to their advantage, and they use it to shut us the hell up. And they say, First Amendment? What First Amendment? And they squeeze us. You know what I'm saying? They're like, what First Amendment? And they give us a wedgie and stuff like that. They say, oh, you said First Amendment? Put our head in the damn toilet. Right? That's what they're trying to do. Who's they? I think we understand who's they. All right, we're getting out of the bottom of it, but just finish off this article because Lord knows after this article we're gonna have to wind it down real quick. All right, we're running out of time. I'd say in order for me to get some other stuff getting going, we got about 15 minutes. All right, to wind it on down. I hope any of this was productive, and I hope that any of this was inspirational, right? Just to let you know that if you're out there and you're getting all revved up and you're getting all weirded out by everything that's going on, so am I. I'm over here, and not to panic. Do not panic, or that's what I would suggest because it's not going to benefit you anyways. Be calm, calm down, notice what's going on around. Like I said, this food storage, the food preparation, investments in this, investments in that, slowly investing yourself one by one, getting investments and diversifying them, be it food, be it gold, be it guns, be it water, be it transportation, be it fuel, be it this and that, whatever it is, collect it. It's got a value to it. Specialize in it, go all willy nilly and stuff. All right. That's what we're going to have to think about. Food. Hey, do you eat food? All right. Well, you might want to have food. Do you drink water? Even if you don't, you might need it to survive. All right. So keep some. It's not really that hard, but we're gonna do that together. So over this year, it's looking pretty good here in San Antonio as far as weather and as far as produce. And we're gonna get all into that a little bit later. But anyways, analytics, y'all. Before we get out of here, from the social media tracking service Social Blade, which I've never been to, but I've heard of it a lot. They got numbers, right, to let you know who's getting what. Social Blade indicated that each of the channels has steady growth since stealthily surfacing online. All right, it's not so stealthily. It's just that y'all were trying to censor them into oblivion, and they had to figure out a way around it. Not Newsweek, but YouTube, and it might as well be the same people who I'm talking about. Right? Y'all are the same people. But anyways, the two of the proxy InfoWars channels brought in more than 550,000 views. 550,000 views. And look at this. In the past 30 days, like I said, I don't know. They said last October. That's retarded. General Shepherds have been going on for much longer than last October, right? So that being said, they just mentioned in the past 30 days. What did they say? 500,000, over 500,000 in the past 30 days. So do the math. Isn't that easily into the millions? Oh, but you don't want to say that. You don't want to say the word millions, do you? Oh, you want to pretend like you get it wrong every time, huh? You don't know what you're doing. You don't know that you're lying, and that it's so easy to figure it out. Okay, so the accounts were by no means cash cows, bringing in no more than 1,900 a month according to analytics, but they had a stream of user interaction, and let it be known, millions of views, millions and millions. Y'all already admitted it. And altogether, what little monetization that they could somehow wind up getting equated to $1,900, right? So obviously not enough to feed yourself or anybody else. All right, it's a side gig. Meanwhile, millions and millions, you already admitted it, of views. Obviously, people knew what they were doing when they looked for these clips. Right? Obviously, these people should have gotten advertisement money, but we know what it is. All right. So let's go back to the comments. It says, "We are in Hogan's Heroes Alert level." I've never actually seen that show. All right. So you might have to explain to us what that means. I realized that it did have Nazis in it. It was like about World War II, if I'm not mistaken. Hogan's Heroes. We're going to have to get down to the bottom of it. But just to rattle off the rest of this article, whatever we can get through, and then maybe have a short news blitz. Perhaps I'm thinking we might go to Instagram. Y'all want to see some wild stuff for the end of this here broadcast? Ah, you probably already been to Instagram, but if you haven't been to Instagram, it is so disgusting to the point of it is illegal. I've seen things that are literally illegal on Instagram. Is so damn disgusting. We're gonna try not to look at those things. We're gonna look at some wild, wild things. One of the more popular General Shepherd channels re-uploading and distributing InfoWars content was able to gain close to 10,000 subscribers on Google-owned video website before its removal earlier today. When they say 10,000, they probably mean within the span of a week or so. Right? That's how unbelievably popular it is. Not only that, there is websites you can go to to download the Alex Jones podcast. You can go to any number of forums where maybe secretively it's being uploaded. You can go to all sort of places. You can go to band.video. You can go to all sort of different places. And if you tally that up, what it says is Alex Jones is unbelievably popular, right? And it's a little rope a dope. It's a little magic trick of smoke and mirrors that you got to say, oh, he's not getting. No, he's everywhere. This stuff that we're doing is everywhere, and y'all can't even help that we're barreling down upon y'all. And I'm not talking to anybody in the audience, but you know who you are and stuff. We're nipping at your heels, and you're even admitting it on Newsweek. So just to hammer this out one more time, one of the more popular. Oh no, we already saw that. All right, but let's see what else they have. Anything else to say? Probably not. Check this out. A YouTube spokesperson said the channel's flagged by Newsweek. Oh God. Oh God. I don't know if we had time to finish this whole article. I'm gonna study it later. It might be worth studying. All right, because let me read this to you one more time. A YouTube spokesperson said channels flagged by Newsweek. You admitted that your punk asses are flagging. Y'all are. You admitted that Newsweek is doing it. They have been deleted. Newsweek is admitting just how rampantly popular it is, and they admitted that they themselves are flagging the YouTube channels. Right? They admitted to it. This could be used as evidence in court. This is bad. Noting that they were created to circumvent a previously issued suspension. It's not a suspension. By uploading terminated content, YouTube confirmed the ban on InfoWars and its host remains active and consistent. And it's a whole world of just different questions that'll come up in your head, like, okay, you banned a person specifically. Meanwhile, for the most heinous of criminals, you can't ban them necessarily from the world. You might put them up into a prison, but you might let those people out later on. The thing that you did to Alex Jones was via the internet digital. You said ban him, and he's not even rehabilitatable, or he can't be rehabilitated. He said ban him forever, no matter what he says. There's no way he's going to ever be able to come back. Notice how they're not saying Alex Jones has to do A, B, and C, and then we're going to let bygones be bygones. There's nothing that he can do. Obviously, they've unpersoned him, right? They said no matter what, he can never ever come back, no matter what he says. It doesn't matter if he sings the ABCs. He cannot be on the internet at all, no matter what. It doesn't matter. You can watch Hitler all day. If you wanted Mussolini, you can watch Mao video clips. You can watch all sort of different heinous. I can watch serial killer interviews till the cows come home. Trust me, it's entertaining. But you can't hear one mumbling, stumbling word from Alex Jones, and people already understand just how unbelievable it is. But these people are admitting to it. These people are admitting to their criminal actions and to their unconstitutional ways in front of everybody because they're going for broke. All right, they need you to know just how much they're going to dominate. So they said created and circumvent previously issued suspension uploading terminated content. That's the thing. You terminated all his past content. And like I said, there was no way of him getting on your good side because he's dead to you. And he should not be mentioned. His voice should never be anywhere. He can't say one mumble and stumbling word. Nobody can upload his stuff because, I mean, that's how terrifying it is. It's gone past Hogan's Hero. I don't know exactly what Hogan's Hero's level alert is, but it's really, really bad. And now they're playing with perhaps bioweapons on people, just like was predicted by Bart Fine. All right. So let me go to the comments section real quick. I know that they made these little bullet points, and of course you can go and see the rest of what it is that they wrote. I'm gonna check it out later. This is like an extreme. This is like an oh my gosh. This is like an infomercial for Infowars. They could not have. They got advertisement for InfoWars. Oh God, and for America on their thing. They don't even know what they're doing, and they're doing it so terribly, or good. They're doing it very good. They're doing a wonderful bang up job for just advertising for General Shepherds. And now they're talking about the different stats and stuff like that. I think that's pretty badass. That's pretty awesome. I could only dream. Let me put it to you like this: I can only dream of the Newsweek talking about me and a couple other individuals in such a terrifying manner. I could only dream of it. And so I gotta hope Barfine and JoJo and the other person are celebrating tonight and taking it easy. Safety first as always, but really understanding that you've done something that they can not only take away, but they can't even help but put a spotlight on it because they are retarded. Right? And you beat them, you are the winner. You won, and it's clearly obvious. Now that being said, the world is getting in such a bad way, and everybody knows it. I'm not telling you news that you're not completely aware of. There's some people who will never believe all the weird, wild stuff that I say, and I don't expect them to. But however, I'm not making it up. I wouldn't dream of making it up. First of all, I don't have that kind of imagination. I mean, my imagination does not go that far. As much as I'm not surprised by anything, I'm still shocked and appalled by a lot of stuff, all right, that I've been seeing. And we're going to take a short look at some of it right now as we wind it down and we get on out of here. I want to say thank you and I appreciate y'all, everybody in the comment section. Let yourself be known right now, and I'll definitely shout you out before we get up out of here. And let it be known maybe something that's on your mind because it is valid, and I will.
Low battery.
Oh, terrible guy. Hold on one second. I got technicals. Speaker ain't even plugged in. But like I was saying, all right, if you're out there and you want me to touch upon something, I also want to touch upon it, not in a weird way or perverted way, but I mean as far as just addressing it so that people will have something to think about when they get out of here. All right, until next time on Wednesday when we meet back up here, probably because I'm lazy. All right, but we might as well meet here until we just totally get banned. All right. Okay, so that with that being said, like I said, let yourself be known. But we're gonna check out Instagram, and I still don't know exactly how to work Instagram. But sometimes I accidentally slip down rabbit holes, and I'm gonna show you some stuff, and it's terrible. But you might get a visual on it if you dare to look at the screen right now. Who we're looking at a South African man, all right, and he's making a journey. He's walking from, I believe, Austin, Texas, or somewhere, I forget exactly, somewhere in Texas, and he's walking all the way to Washington D.C. and he's carrying that American flag, and he's proud of himself, and I think he should be. And he's also representing for people of South Africa. He seems to believe there's a genocide going on and a political persecution of a certain kind of people and pretty much everybody, but especially white people. And he wants to speak out about that, right? And some people might call him evil about that. You know what I'm saying? But he's desperate. And he's having a good time as well as he's just bringing everybody together. This should unite people right here. But I know a lot of people probably give him sideways looks, right? So to cancel that out, I want to give everybody get some good vibes, right? And send it to him right now. Or whenever you feel like, just send him some good vibes. And I think he'll feel it. I truly believe in that, right? You might want to open the window, but I think he'll feel the vibes. I don't know, okay, when I get on Instagram, it'll send me a feed, right? I guess. And that's just recent stuff's been happening. Here's a boy with makeup, but that's typical. I'm following all sort of people. I go on Instagram and just, I don't need to say words necessarily, but you already know that I'm finding things that are just peculiar as hell. And I follow them, right? Aaron Carter, his stuff is very peculiar. I would like to note that not to dog on Aaron Carter, but if you're doing this, if you're doing exactly what he's doing, taking pictures of yourself, putting your finger on your lips in some sort of weird MK Ultra type way. We know that you've been molested, all right? You've admitted to that. And it's not to use that against you. We're not saying anything bad about you, about that. Saying these are also red flags. You've been traumatized. Something's wrong in your brains and stuff. And obviously, Hollywood loves it. Obviously, Disney loves it. Stuff like that. We realize how disgusting they are. We're not trying to villainize you necessarily, but you're all sort of twisted in your brain. And I don't know what your older brother was up to or this and that. I don't know. And it's terrible to think about it, the road that you're going down. But you are giving people a visual as to what to avoid doing because it looks psychologically um, like you're tripping balls, right? Taking pictures of yourself. You're a grown man. Gosh, some people are celebrities to the point where people will take pictures of them. You're lonely and desperate. And I'm not saying that to dog on you. I'm saying that because I love you, brother. All right? And I totally mean it. I really do. All right? But so I don't know how to work Instagram the best, but I can tell you that I've been looking at some stuff that's terrifying. I don't know if this is gonna be one. I don't know what the heck we're looking at. Sometimes they pop up stories and stuff like that. Like, how do I go to my subscriptions? This is how you go to people's stories, I guess. But I don't want to see that. Um, Gosh, dude, if I knew how to work Instagram, I'm gonna have to go like in my off time, see if I can't figure it the heck out. I don't know what the heck we're doing. All right. Sometimes I just go on Instagram and I click buttons and I look for weird, wild, disgusting things, right? Um, so I don't know what we're gonna look at, but of course, what we're looking at right now, it brings up to mind before we get out of here, the Super Bowl. I didn't mention the Super Bowl at all because I totally forgot about it. Yesterday, during the Super Bowl, I was invited to a couple different places to go and hang out, watch it. I couldn't have been less interested necessarily, and I wound up just going down weird rabbit holes here on Instagram. But it does remind me of the Super Bowl internet, just to be honest, all right? And everybody knows it, just to be on record. And look, there's nothing bad about how homosexual it is, all right? I'm not saying it's bad because it is so over the top homosexual. See, that's the thing. I'm not hating on it. I'm not hate speeching when I say the Super Bowl is so unbelievably oozing with homosexuality, homoeroticism, that I mean it's awkward, like it's embarrassing. Like if I were walking on somebody watching the Super Bowl, I would close the door and just be like, I'm sorry, and close the door because it would be that embarrassing. It is so completely over the top homosexual. I know a lot of people haven't figured that out. I mean, when every waking moment of not playing football is absolutely, completely feminine and homosexual, well, you got something interesting on your hands. But I don't know how to use. Here's the thing. I wanted to point out a couple of people in general. I don't know how to work Instagram, so I might not be able to point out those couple of people, but there's one person in particular. We're going to end it on this note that I remember their name specifically. I didn't realize that I was already subscribed, I guess you would say, to this person. That's on the top right here, Mini Kiki, or Mini Queen Kiki. All right. If you haven't seen this before, save this to the end. Here's a treat. Here's a little treat. You might remember Desmond is amazing. All right. And as wild and disturbing as for the people who remember, as disturbing as that was, you knew full well you're going to see all sort of Desmonds, if you will, pop up all across the country. Yes, you will. You were not incorrect. All right. That's definitely going to be popping up all over the country. Here's a young boy. And I want to explain as we get out of here. On a final note, is that the left, the so-called left, who wants to ban everybody and censor everybody until nobody can say anything, and that way all crime will stop on Earth. Those people, they're going to wind up eating each other, basically, so to speak, politically. And I know a lot of people said this before me. It's not something that I'm unleashing on the world. Is that they're going to eat each other just because it doesn't revolve around logic, and so therefore, as soon as they get offended, they're going to turn on whoever it is, to include their mama. All right, they're going to turn on them and try to ban them and kill them if they had a chance to. All right, that's really honestly what it comes down to. The left, if you will, they're extremely violent and murderous. They have a murderous rage in their hearts, whether they admit it or not, whether they're vegan or not, really doesn't matter. All right, and they're not going to get to the bottom of it. But like I said, the left, it's a treacherous place to be on. You don't want to be on the left because they'll eat you alive at any waking moment and destroy your life. And I mean in a very real way, in a financial way, and everything else. Right. Okay. As that being said, this little young boy, he's a drag queen. All right. If you haven't figured it out by the hair, I know a lot of young boys have long hair. Here's a letter that recently he wrote. He's a 9-year-old little boy. Right. I've already looked into it. He can't really articulate very well. He can't speak very well. He speaks like a 9-year-old boy. He has a letter that he wrote out about being a drag queen and this and that. The troubles of being a drag queen. There's him. See, it's like, okay, this young boy, he's trending, right? This sort of stuff is the way of the future, if you will, all right? And you're going to be seeing a lot of it, and you're going to be seeing much more than you can ever imagine. Here's him being a prostitute. Basically, as you can tell, all the photos are of him being a prostitute or a young boy. That was back when he was a little young boy. And unfortunately, those were days of a long time ago. And you got him playing with pets and stuff. Like, really trying to get known on Instagram. It's very typical. Not only is he a drag queen, but he's very ambitious. He wants to be a professional, it seems, as you can tell by the Instagram, a professional drag queen. Right, very early in age, and that also involves dressing up in costumes. Getting called. Who calls me at 9 o'clock at that dang evening? That's unbelievable. But y'all just finish up. Here's the couple of notes that I was making when I was diving down this rabbit hole. Is that not only is there drag queen stuff, right, and drag queen dancing and dollar bills being thrown around and this and that, scandalous clothing, but there's these kind of costumes. And you're going to note, if you were to look at this guy on the Instagram, this young boy who shouldn't even be on Instagram, if you were to look at this young boy, you're going to note that he's doing all sorts of things to impress or get the attention of his mother, right? I don't know his day-to-day. I'm sure he spends time with his father, who I've also seen on Instagram, right? But it's to get the attention of his mother, is to impress his mother. This is what he's doing, He doesn't even realize why he's doing what he's doing, because if you were ever a 9-year-old child, you also had no clue why you were doing what you were doing. But he is trying to cater to his mother's desires, and she desires this. And he doesn't realize exactly, he does know that it's dressing up. Right here, he's dressing up, and it's not even in drag. It's like a Halloween costume. Now he just really likes dressing up. And upon reviewing the Instagram and the various other evidence, I saw that he really just likes dressing up. He knows he's a boy, and he writes about being a boy. And he says, but I'm a drag queen as well. All right, and that's what I do. I'm a professional drag queen at 9 years old. And he knows that there's a difference. He knows he's a boy. Like I said about the left, nobody's going to be able to agree. So there's going to be drag queens who think that they're girls. There's people who think they're girls and they don't buy into the drag queen thing. There's drag queens who know that they're boys and they don't buy into the transgender thing. And they're going to wind up stepping on each other's toes and eating each other alive and banning each other from off of the world. And it's going to be hilarious to watch it, but at the same time, it's filled up with all sort of perversion like you're seeing right here. Let me tell you, this rabbit hole alone, you're gonna see it always turns into ghouls and goblins and Halloween stuff. No matter what, they're gonna be ghouls and goblins and prostitutes. Unfortunately, I'd hate to say it, but that's what they look like most of the time. and fairy tales and Disney fairy tales and ghouls and goblins. And I'm talking about every time, dude. Like, it's like fish in a barrel. It's always like this. And for example, you're gonna see grown ass adults looking like ghouls and goblins. For example, you got a 7 foot tall ass just monster behind this young person who's desperately trying to convince everybody of something, be it, I don't know, sexual prowess. I don't know what's going on here, but it very much looks like ghouls and goblins and sex worker, and I don't even know if we could say those words on YouTube. All right, but that's what it looks like, and dressing up and ambiguity and being around adults and also being a child, being a young child. Like this, you know what I'm saying? These are the pictures of a young child being exploited. It's terrible. All sort of a beast going on, all right? And that's only touching upon, the very tip of the iceberg. Is the weird, disgusting perversion that I can easily find if I get organized on Instagram, because it's everywhere. It's bursting at the seams. It's all over the place. It's an unbelievable amount. And I don't even know how to find things on Instagram. I don't know how to use Instagram. But they still keep throwing out all sort of perversion at me. And I'm going to share with y'all some of the perversion, some of it, next time. That I've been coming across just as soon as I learn how to work Instagram. But at the same time, I gotta let you know, we gotta be very careful about it, because not only is it disgusting, but I swear that I've seen stuff that's over the top, even illegal. I've seen stuff that is most certainly illegal here on Instagram, and nothing happens. That's just what happens on Instagram. All right. Anyways, I appreciate everybody out there. Let's see about the comments before we get on out of here. But we have gone over the limit, you guys. What? See, y'all, everything's sideways when I'm on Instagram. Let me just turn it around. I know you're probably checking out that picture, but sorry to. Okay, how do you work YouTube? Okay, so Bart Fine says, just to finish it out, he says, I have been performing above my pay grade thanks to God. And that's an even, I know we were seeing that perversion and stuff, and that people taking advantage of little children. We need to see that to know that it exists in order to combat it, in order to ever bring justice upon this world and to protect the children. All right, but even on a better note, Barfine finishes it just the way that it needed to be done. He said, all credit to God. Thanks to God, he's doing things that he didn't even know he was capable of. And he just let God take care of it, and look at where it's got him. He's at the tippy top of Google. How many people could say that? All right. Barfine says, hey, InfoWars, raise future bail money for me, please. We're all going to have to start raising bail money for each other. I'm here to tell you. All right. Among other things, some of us ain't going to get bond. All right. But for those who do, we're going to have to start investing and saving up bail money and everything else. All right. I appreciate everybody. We went way over the time limit. I'm going to check you out on Wednesday. All right. I look forward to it. Okay, we're going to dive down some rabbit holes. We're going to see some terrifying things. But also we're going to discuss all the amazing accomplishments that we've already had and the ones that we see in our near future. All right. It's going to be amazing. Anyways, I'll holler at y'all later. It's February the 3rd, 2020. And I appreciate y'all.